Hello, everybody, and welcome back from what I hope was a wonderful long Thanksgiving weekend. So, remember where we left off last time? We said, all right, what's going on here after the election? Trump's cabinet picks clearly are meant to disrupt the establishment in Washington. Meanwhile, the Washington establishment is saying back, if you think we're going down without a fight, you've got rocks in your head. We're going to fight back. And we talked about the military side of it. Let's talk about the financial side of it. Here's what happened 2 Fridays ago, right after President Trump said, by myself, I can cut $1.5 trillion from the budget on the first day in office. And by the way, he's right. If we go back to pre-COVID, the government budget was around 4 trillion a year. Then COVID hit, all the emergency spending. We ratcheted that up like 7 trill. Well, that wasn't done through Congress mostly. It was done executive orders. Any president can reverse executive orders. Well, when you start to take away $1.5 trillion that people are getting used to, I'll tell you what, people want to fight back. So let's go to what Jerome Powell, chairman of the Federal Reserve, did a couple of Fridays ago. He cut by more than 50% something called the Bank Term Funding Program. Don't let your eyes glaze over, just hang with me. Let's go back about 18 months. Remember when Silicon Valley Bank collapsed? Oh, yeah. And then right after that, we had, let's see, Silver Bank went down, First Republic went down, Century went down. The Fed was panicked. Actually, everyone was panicked. Oh, no, this is Lehman Brothers all over again. Here we go. At that point, the Federal Reserve said, look, we're going to create a pool of money. And if you banks are in trouble, come up and get it. And they gave it a stupid name, Bank Term Funding Program. I would have called it a payday loan, but like, I don't know, a line of credit. But basically, it was don't fall apart. If you need money, come up and get it. We'll fund you. Well, okay. Then, as soon as Trump makes this announcement, they cut that thing by almost 60%. Well, wait a minute. We know that we've got anywhere from $3 to $5 trillion of commercial real estate loans coming due over the next year, year and a half, 2 years. What is this? So these are loans banks made mostly before COVID on shopping malls, office towers. What's happened to that real estate? Y'all have been to the malls. Do you think those malls are worth today what they were worth pre-COVID? What about those 80-story beautiful concrete glass skyscrapers in Houston and Pittsburgh, New York? Everybody went home after COVID. They might be 60% occupied. And when they made the original loan 5, 7 years ago, they were 95% occupied. Is that building today worth what it was pre-COVID? The answer is no way. And the banks are on the hook for this. This is kind of the time the banks might need the payday loan. And now he cuts that pool in half. How come? Well, if Trump is declaring war on the financial system, maybe the financial system is then going to declare war back and say, you know what we can do the day you take office? We're going to lay a banking crisis at your feet. That's how crazy this is getting right now. By the way, here's the next thing that's going to happen. I can almost guarantee you this. Over the next several weeks, you're going to see our government revising all of the past year's economic statistics. Think about how many times Walt and I have talked to you over the past year. This doesn't make any sense. What do you mean the unemployment rate has dropped? My eyes don't tell me that. What do you mean inflation's dropping like crazy? My checkbook ain't telling me that. What do you mean that the GDP is growing this fast? None of this made sense. Well, what they're going to do now is say, well, our methodology was off. We're going to have to revise these numbers. And by the way, in fairness, every single administration in an election year does it to some degree. This one was maybe a little bit over the top, though. So, what are they going to say as soon as he takes office? We're in a recession. Well, yeah, it should have happened about a year ago. Except now it's going to be, oh, see, as soon as he took office, we were in a recession. And nobody understands it out there. So they're going to be blaming him when he wasn't even in office yet. What we're saying is this: expect conflict. So I'm going to jump a little bit ahead here. In January, Walt and I said 2024 will be the year of chaos. So far, so good. I think we've done a pretty good job of getting that one right. I think 2025 is going to be a year of conflict. And it's not hard to see. Clearly, the wars are ramping up and escalating. Military kinetic conflict. We're going to have a political conflict like no other. I think we're going to have currency conflict, banking conflict. This is going to be something else. Has America been through this before? Yeah. Can we get through it? Yes. But we need to get your portfolios through it, because Greg and Albuquerque can't stop any of what's coming here. But what we can do is look at these portfolios and say, what historically has done well during this kind of thing in past history? Where you are positioned is actually a pretty good place to be. Oil prices will likely be rising. You will likely see rising food prices, more inflation. You're positioned for that. Gold and silver typically do very well during times of unease. The stock market, not so much, especially if they finally admit we're in recession. Watch what starts happening to earnings. Watch what happens to merger and acquisition activity. Watch what happens to IPOs. All that slows down. So you all know you are not in the broad stock market at all. What I would tell you though, hold on. During conflict, boom, boom, boom. We saw it right after the election. And then we saw all of our stuff start to head back up again. I think that's going to be our theme for next year. 2 forward, 1 back. And the 1 back is going to be knee buckling. Just hang on. As long as every high is getting higher and every low is getting higher, we're in good shape. So with that, I will turn it over to Walt. And that's all I've got today.